Rolling to a show with my pedals in a grocery bag and spending 20 minutes setting them up? Forget that, folks. I can do better. It's time to give my bass guitar pedals the home they deserve. After taking a long break from music and woodwork, I'm back in the shop with a mission: to build the ultimate custom walnut pedalboard. Built tons of tech. It will be sleek, functional, and sturdy enough for any gig. Let's make it happen. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Eric Casey, and this is Wood Tech Logics. Today we're doing a project that's both fun and functional. A new pedal board for my bass guitar rig. I was tempted to buy one online, but why not make it personal and build it right here in this shop? Today we'll tackle everything from design and layout, cutting of the custom top, and building of the custom walnut frame, and finishing. Let's go and get to work. The first step was designing the pedal board layout. I already had my signal flow down after messing with pedal combinations at many band practices, so now it was just fit and finish time. I started by loading all the pedals with 1/4-inch right angle jacks to get the proper spacing. Then, I sketched out a compact layout that keeps everything accessible and hides the cables underneath for a clean look. After I was happy with the look and spacing, I was able to get some final measurements, and it was time to cut the top panel out of 1/2-inch Baltic birch plywood over the table saw. When cutting plywood, or any board, always keep the board tight against the fence to avoid kickback and ensure clean, precise cuts. Safety first. Don't forget that riving knife. With the top panel cut to size, I set up the pedals again, marked the location for the IO, and drilled cable holes using a Forstner bit for a precise radius. Then I used a jigsaw to cut the remaining waste and followed up with some cleanup on the spindle sander. I thought for a second this would be a nice job for the CNC, but then I decided to just do it with my Woodpecker's auto line drill guide and the jigsaw, thinking it would save time. Jury's still out on that decision. Quick coat of black stain brought the panel to life. Black and wood tones, a classic combo. Next up, the bass. I used some beautiful walnut to create an angled frame that makes both rows of pedals easy to reach while playing. To fit the top panel perfectly, I cut rabbets into the frame edges for a recessed fit. The side panels were easy using a rabbeting bit in the router table. Set the height and depth, and you are on your way. The top and bottom panels, not so easy. Seeing on both these pieces, the rabbet couldn't go all the way to the edge. I felt more comfortable setting this one up on the table saw and doing a punch cut. I made some start and stop marks on my fence and then climbed
plunged the piece into the brake. When I got to the stop point, I turned the saw off, waited for it to come to a complete stop, and the cuts were complete. Repeat this for all the cuts on both pieces. A bit of cleanup was needed on these, so some handwork with a chisel was done to clean up the ends, and the rabbets were complete. Then, I used dominoes to secure everything, because I find every excuse to use this thing. Once everything was cut to size, rabbets were complete, and dominoes were cut, I did a dry run off camera. Now for the final glue up. I added the dominoes, some glue, and assembled the whole piece. Clamping everything up with 2 F-clamps, and assuring everything was square. Let it dry overnight. Once the glue was all dry, I got it out of the clamps, gave it a quick round over on all edges to smooth off that sharp edge. Then sanding up to 220 all the way around. I'll save you tons of that footage. When all said and done, a quick coat of Minwax polyurethane, just brush on. I think I did 2 coats, sanding in between. And here's just one. This wraps up part 1 of the pedalboard build. Please stay tuned next week for part 2. If it's later in time, part 2 will be linked at the end of this video. Next on to the tech and pedal installation.